these are really, really challenging times for the world, especially for the OH industry. But these are also the time for having great conversations and to see the future for this business. So thank you really for joining this conversation with Media for Growth.
Oh, no problem. I mean, thank you so much for the opportunity. And like you say, this is a ever-changing world right now, and I mean, we can all see that there is going to be a revolution, and the revolution is actually going right now on all the media business, especially digital out-of-home business. And I'm very happy that I have the opportunity to be able to discuss this topic with you.
Thank you so much, Rafale. So, knowing about your organization, it's been there since 2009. That's about 12 years.
Yeah.
What are really the big changes that you've seen on the digital out-of-home landscape in these 12 years?
Well, we start from Times Square, and the Times Square has always been the center of the digital out-of-home since probably 50 or even more than 50 years ago.
Right.
The digital signage in Times Square is never a traditional screen. It's never a square, never a rectangle, or never a regular 16:9 ratio of the screen. Instead, it always has its own character, as you can see from my background right now. None of the screen it's standard resolution or standard size. They all, like you say, they all have their own landmark, and they all try to speak for themselves and stand up for themselves. And also, since we have been running, like you said, like more than 12 years in Times Square, what I see, what I have been seeing is how the digital out of home is transition from one space to another space, and it's very interesting and fascinating, and I would like to share this with you. So back to 2008 and 2009, it's this is after the this is after .com booming, and also this is after the economic crisis of 2008, economic crisis 2008.
Yes.
However, the iPhone was just it came out like 1 or 2 years. So mobile revolution actually just starting up. So that was like, you can see very, very straightforward. The trend is all the advertising, all the media, it was focusing on the mobile phone. And indeed, it actually go to mobile phone. And then there was a lot of prediction, like all the old traditional media like newspaper, television, radio, and even digital out of home are going to get killed by mobile phone. So from 2009 to 2015, we've been seeing that, oh yes, it is actually getting impact, that the revenue, the amount of business is declining. When the mobile is taking over the advertising industry, people are more focusing on the billing, advertising, and then the screen time, and how people actually tracking on how they use their cell phone, because that's pretty much a screen right in front they're holding. So yes, it definitely impact digital out of home and most of the traditional media. However, starting from 2016 or about that time, I noticed that people starting to have visual fatigue. What happened is, well, people looking their phone and people browsing on internet. Yes, there are a lot of banner. There's a lot of advertisement on the phone. Or even when you go to Starbucks, you see those screens, and you go to McDonald's, you see those advertisements everywhere, and people actually starting to ignore them. They don't see it anymore. With this visual fatigue, I don't see the advertisement. I don't see the browse. Do you remember the last ad that you saw on the website. I mean, when you browse the website, exactly, you don't remember. I don't remember because yes, they are there. I remember there's something flashing in the sideband or something like that. But the moment we saw it, we just close it down. We minimize it. It doesn't even register or impact. We just remember there's something try to interrupting us, and that's not a pleasant experience. So because of that, and now people and advertisers starting to thinking about what will be the unique way to to separate them from other people. Like if everybody just directly put their budget into the mobile phone to internet, you're all pretty much all the same. And so that's when I can see the trend, or I can see the investment or the media fund is now actually starting growing back, and the market for traditional media, I mean, not all traditional media is the same, but let's talk about just digital out of home in here, where I can see that people are now more focused on digital out of home, starting from 2016, 18, 19. And I would say 19 is great. You've seen a lot of big sign building up. Like if you can see that sign right there, you can see that that's the south tower. The entire tower is been constructed as one single large LED right now. And this was happened in 2019. So a lot of new construction, new billboard, and you can see the large Marriott sign as well. That's like a 2018, 2017. So all of this indicating, hey, actually the eyeball and the experience are now coming back. This was back to 2016, 2018, 19, and then pandemic hit. Everything quieted down, and especially Times Square. I mean, New York was hit the hardest, was the center of the hot zone, and of course, Times Square, it's the crossroad of the world, and it's the heartbeat of the New York City, and we got hit the hardest, and no doubt there was no tourists, and it's entire quiet. But again, this doesn't take too long, and we can see the traffic slowly coming back. But they are definitely changes, and definitely different impact affecting the future of business. But this is what I have been seeing and saw for the past 12 years. Yes.
Oh, the Tiger Party has been handling the media assets at New York Square for many years. So how do you meet the expectations of both the advertisers and the media operators? It's no mean task.
Yes, but I want to be frank in here, and also be sharing my product experience on what people want and what those advertisers want in Times Square. Most of the people, when they advertise in Times Square, what they want is they really want to be able to enhance by the glory of the Times Square, to be able to make a statement, say, hey, my business has been in Times Square, which means they don't really want something really fancy in Times Square, because especially if their budget is limited. Most of the time, all they want is just to put a picture of their company logo or a picture of their product in Times Square. To simply say, hey, I have been in Times Square. So the demand is actually, or the request is actually quite simple and direct. However, this is really not the best interest to all of us, not to the media owner in Times Square, not to the advertiser, and not to the viewer, because if they just want to do something so simple and so boring to be said, and then just want to come over and make a statement and then come back and go, this will harm the culture of Times Square. And this will make the viewer in Times Square feel like, oh, this is just another visual fatigue. This is just another fashion content. And very quickly, you know, the culture of the Times Square, the history of Times Square will, you know, will eventually, the glory will be gone. The reason, or the glory of in Times Square and all the billboard is different size and have their own characteristic, because people want unique experience. And if you just show in some boring picture and with nothing in there, very quickly people are not going to focus on Times Square. And when people are not going to focus on Times Square, then people are not really going to care what you did in Times Square. And when people don't care what you did in Times Square, then why do you even do anything in Times Square, wasting your money in there? So if we do something like that, that's a bad strategy, and that's actually bad for everyone. So when we get the request like that, we try to like bring up the game. You know, we try to increase the game to the experience to the next level, because we want to tell them, hey, this is your opportunity to actually do something in Times Square. Yes, you have a limit budget, and yes, I know you just want to have a quick show off in Times Square and being gone, but one, this is not what the media owner interested in. Two, eventually this is really not good for you, because what then you different from other people who just show their picture and print anyway. So we have our system where we will be able to conduct a quick experience directly with the viewer, or directly with their consumer or end user. So instead of trying to tell them, hey, buy this, hey, this is me, and then, hey, see, I'm here. We try to, engage. We try to actually attract the user to seeing, like, what are we doing in here? For example, when we did with Volkswagen, we will ask the question, like a survey on the billboard, and say, hey, if you're going to buy a car, a smart car, or the car in Volkswagen, what color would you choose? And then based on the voting, and that car will be then occupy Times Square, will be then showing everywhere in Times Square. Or like when there was a event for underwear. So, hey, what is your favorite underwear? And then that color will then take over. So people feel like, oh, participating. People are like, oh, okay, what I say actually make it different. And people will actually engage and play with you. And I mean, it doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be like complex. Like you must submit the code. You must fill something. You just text, or you just take a picture and share on your social media. For example, one of the event we did was one of the breakfast company, where they try to sell their cereal. So we play a quick game. We basically say, okay, to everybody in the world right now, if you use your cereal, if you use the cereal to make a breakfast and tweet it on the social media, and with your message, we'll display that in Times Square. So we got million of people start tweeting the message on the social media, on the Twitter, and say, hey, mom, I love you, or hey, this is what I eat for today. And people, have a space to actually to showcase and to engage with the sign. So, the quick campaign like this, totally switch from I'm trying to sell you this, and this is what we are, becoming, hey, let's have some fun. And this bring different level of experience to people, and this is what we've seen. This has been working. It doesn't have to difficult. I mean, we've done hundred of campaign like this. I can give you a lot of example, like what we did with Pepsi or that. But I think you got what I mean.
Absolutely, Rafale. Very, very fascinating. So it's not just about the utilization of space of or of being at a premium place like Times Square, but actually
Mhm.
it's also about the quality of content that actually gets displayed and the amazing role that you play in making that content happen in the way that you just described.
Yes.
Rafael, I'll quickly switch to Go Tiger, a platform that you have now launched. And what I got to understand is that it simplifies the whole process of planning and managing digital assets. So can you tell us a little bit about Go Tiger? What was the inspiration behind setting up a platform of this nature? And what is it that you're really offering to this industry?
I mean, we all know like um, programmatic buying platform is one of the hot topic right now, and a lot of people are doing that. Um, and we are not, of course, not the only one who want to do this and to be able to take the market on this one. Um, however, we notice that I mean, a lot of the solution, those programmatic buying solution, currently exist on the market. They don't really they actually design or they architect to support the digital home like gas station, coffee shop, supermarket. I mean, all of their screen is basically 16 by 9, 4 by 3, the standard resolution. And then sure, they have like 100 or 500, even 1,000 location. So they're doing massive like deployment, enrollment on doing that digital home experience. That doesn't work um, for what we do and for our past experience, because what we do is we have unique display, and our client are landmark. They have their landmark, and each of the sign is a signature pieces. Um, you can't just directly do, oh, this is 16 by 9 video, so let's go play that. No, you can't. And to me, this is where our specialty come out. Our Go Tiger platform is not just programmatic buying, just not just another programmatic buying platform. We connect this with our Go Tiger player, and so it actually can power up your entire signage system. And we took our experience from the past 12 years in Times Square on all the interactive content component that we have done and we can do, and we combine them and package them into our player, Go Tiger player, with our Go Tiger buyer platform, where now we have something that what we want to have a programmatic platform for premium location, for location for the signage that's not standardized. Not something like, okay, I have one video, let's deploy into the 100 location, because simply doesn't work this way. So this is where we are targeting as well. We are targeting to the landmark building. We targeting to do the landmark signage, because we believe that's where the signage is going to make a difference. That's where the digital out home is going to be different. Eventually, we don't want to go back to the old route where people getting used to it. People feel boring and like, oh, I'm just seeing another advertisement. We want to be the next dominate speaker for their media, but for their product and for their main media.
How's the market response been so far? I mean, you launched this platform recently, but nonetheless, how is the market really responding to?
Well, firstly, we just came out from pandemic, so and yes, they are definitely challenging on pushing this platform and this player into the market. We recently had just finished one of the installation on Chicago Landmark, that's in Chicago. We deploy our Go Tiger player. It's right across the Chicago Theater. That's the signature landmark in Chicago. So I would say, yeah, I mean, given we're still in the middle of pandemic, I think we're doing pretty good. Of course, we want to continue to, to be able to deploy into the landmark location around the world. We don't want to just be doing in Times Square or just doing in United States. We want to go global. I'm sure this is where the trend will be. I mean, for all the people who, or all the media owner who are in ambition and who want to create another media experience like Times Square, this will be where our opportunity to be. Imagine a network that will be connecting all the Times Square experience in London, in Japan, and in Dubai, and now in New York, and see all those premium location connect together and doing interactive together. This will be really quite interesting. One of the interactive that we have done, I don't know if Susie has shared this with you before. We basically set up the camera on top of our sign. So we directly streaming and connect the billboard in Times Square with the billboard in Taiwan, Taipei. So two billboard, they will be able to see the audio in front of them. So quite fascinating. The people in Taiwan can directly see the people in Times Square, and people in Times Square can directly see the people in Taiwan. And of course, I mean, there's no audio because one speak English and the one speaking Mandarin. But at the same time, it's the real time and real interactive, and people start curious and start actually want to say hi, say hello, and when they are having fun, and the client logo is right next to it, and the entire campaign is sponsored by blah 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 blah, and they starting to play a game, and the game we try to do is like, if we have a screen. On the screen on the left is the people from New York, on the right is the people from Taiwan, and both screen and both, like, the view is displayed on the billboard in Times Square and also in Taiwan. So when they form a gesture together, like form a heart, then the client message will pop up, say, "Hey, we join together. Please, visit Taiwan," or like, "Yes, please join our fan club," or those kind of message that they want to their client, to their end user. So yeah, that's where we are targeting. We want to connect all the premium location, landmark, and that's where we are targeting to right now.
Wonderful. Rafael, from what I understand, one key aspect is to provide the technology solutions that make this format so very interesting and, to the extent, futuristic. The other aspect is the creative side. And I find that you're very, very involved on the creative side as well. So how do you do that? Are you working with another external creative agency or a team, or do you have an in-house team for that as well?
I mean, it's really, really interesting question, and thank you for asking that. That's another big point. Like you said, the content matter. And however, most of the science player in the market right now, they don't actually design for the creative aspect of the scenes. They will try to, just give me a H.264 format of video. Just give me, a small video. Yeah, it could be 16 by 9, fine. Let's change the different resolution. But what do you mean about color depth? What do you mean about the compression ratio? Oh, what do you mean about the gray scale? Like, they don't actually care about those content. They just want to say, just give me a H.264 compression, or give me a 23 or even 24 frame of the video. Oh, that's a movie standard, right? 24. Oh yeah, so let's stick with the 24. But the reason why the movie is 24, because a lot of the movie theater, they are old and they following with the old format, and that's why you viewing the movie in the completely dark environment, try to connect the frame by frame. So with the digital signage, it's outdoor, and if the screen keeps flashing, it's very bad for the viewer. And with the pixels so big, if you have artifact and if you have low quality or compression, it will be so obvious, especially on a large screen. So a lot of player, those cheap player, like I don't know, like some of them could be just $500 player or like $1,000 player. Yes, you can play H.264. Yes, you can play low frame and I don't know, 100 megabyte of the content. The content we are playing back usually for 15 seconds. 15 seconds. It's approximately 20 gigabyte.
Okay.
20 gigabytes. So basically, we play lossless quality of content. We play ProRes, Apple ProRes content, and we can play 444. We can play 422. We can play 16 bits of the content. We can play 10 bits, 16 bit. Most of the content right now, usually people play 8 bits or less. We can play 60 frames per second, and if needed, we can customize it to play 120 frames per second. All that is possible, and we can play in 4K, 8K resolution to fit your need. No other player or playback system, signage system in the market can do this. And basically, the reason why we do it because we need it in Times Square in order to attract people's eyeball and separate yourself. Your color need to be sharp, and your transition need to be seamless. Your color contrast, the depth of your color need to be perfect, and for people to actually see it, wow, that's a beautiful color, beautiful content. So when you're doing this interactive and you're showing that, hey, you want to have a fun, if you show them a copy sign, nobody actually want to play with you. Nobody want to stop and then see their face on the copy sign. You want to show them everything, the best that you have.
Absolutely. So having excelled in this space, which are the markets where you're doing business, and which are the new frontiers that you really want to reach out to?
So as you know, we have been staying in Times Square for quite a while, and we recently expanded to Chicago. I mean, during the year of 2020, we have been reaching to Dubai and Japan, and where we want to starting to to showcase our capability and to be able to get into there, and because I believe after pandemic, like back to like the 1918 or 1919, the Spanish flu, after that, that was a 10 years, good 10 years of the economic booming. Like everything just go, wow, the roaring 1920 to 1929.
Yes.
That was the period of everybody was like, like we've been stay home, there was a pandemic, and now they just go out and make something happen. I'm not saying that this will exactly be happening just like 100 years ago, but I mean, we have all been staying home for quite a long time. And exactly, we want to see something fun. We want something different. And this is where the construction happening. Like for the past year, 2020, construction is actually happening everywhere in New York. Like people taking this opportunity to do renovation, to do an upgrade. And I believe the same thing is happening in Japan, in Dubai. And when people are up their game, when they upgrade their sign, their system, this is the perfect opportunity for us to showcase what we can do. And hey, we are the best.
Oh, great. I think you have every reason to go global and reach out to the new markets and provide such great experiences. And as you just rightly said, once the pandemic loses its power and people are able to come back on the streets, I'm sure they all are looking for these new experiences, which a company like yours will be able to provide with ease on the DOOH landscape. I really wish you all the very best for that. But before I let you go, just very fascinated by the name Tiger Party. So how did this come about?
So my business partner, Ganesh, he's also Indian. So 12 years ago when we when we start the business, the Tiger Party is actually not a party. It's actually a political party. So originally we want to, we come to like two young guys coming to New York, and we want to make a difference. So we was like, hey, let's form a political party, and let's actually make something different, make it different for the people, and make a stand. That's but because we are foreigner and we don't have much of the right to be elected as as a government official or to run for any of those representatives. So in the end, we quickly switch our path or role from a political path to a business path. But we continue to keep our party's name. So Tiger Party is not a party, but it's a name of a political party. So that's why we call it Tiger Party.
Wow, what a lovely, lovely story that is. And I'm sure you'll really go a long way. And who knows, in the future, you just might rethink your initial ambition as well.
Well, if we can connect all the landmark billboard signage in a wall, very quickly we'll be able to, pass the message to the people. I mean, and do the right thing and bring the good thing to the people.